Kishta Kunda Caharlock, Sean Campion, I propose the motion 57. It's basically a 32 county championship running in tandem with our provincial competitions. Tier 1, we have it in 4 tiers. Tier 1 would be teams that contest the provincial finals of the previous year. For example, if this is coming in 2017, it would be the teams that would reach the provincial final in 2016. The Tier 2 would comprise of the beaten semi-finalists in the previous year. And Tier 3 and Tier 4 would be made up of the teams finishing in the National League of the current year. The format is very simple. Would be 3 rounds at the start, taking Tier 4 and Tier 3 playing one another, with the Tier 4 teams having home advantage. In round 2, the winners of round 1 would play Tier 2, and in round 3, the winners of round 2 would play Tier 1, leaving you with quarterfinals, 8 quarterfinalists, where an open draw would be then kick in and open draw in your semi-finals. The benefit that we see from this, it gives us a very clear fixture program for the year, that our counties know when they're playing and where they're playing. It will help to streamline the fixture program that's there at present. And the provincial championships are retained, and the importance of the provincial competition is enshrined in our structure. Also, our National Football League retains the link to the championship seedings for tiers 3 and 4. And I suppose most importantly, county teams compete at their own level. And in particular, it will do away with those mismatches that we have seen over the last number of years.
Anton de Vos, Europe. I suppose it's probably both easy in one way, and maybe a lot of counties in Ireland will say, well, why would an international unit have a view on this? But one of the reasons is we don't have a vested interest. So we can look at it. And one of the good things about this proposal, and I accept that Carla say it might need some refinement, but it's a clear, simple, logical, easy to understand, as opposed to our current system, which is confusing. You don't know where you're going to stand, counties don't know when they're going to play, etc. It incentivizes good performance in provincial championships, and in particular in the lower divisions of the National League, which will make them more competitive in themselves, because that will feed through into counties who need to step up some more to compete with what we might call the stronger counties, that they will know that the league is now really part of the championship structure, in that there's a relationship between the two. It addresses many of the questions about the way stronger counties have to a large extent marched through the qualifiers, and weaker counties have ended up as sometimes cannon fodder. So it freshens things up. It addresses many of the issues that have been spoken about. And while it may not be perfect, and we looked at so many different proposals at Ard Comhairle, I think there's a real sense, certainly outside, that we need to do something about the football championship. And this does something about it. Like everything else, if it doesn't work, we'll be back here this time next year and we can look at it again. But certainly I think members of the public, the paying customers who go to our games, and everyone else, they're feeling that the current structure is not quite doing the right thing. It's not promoting our games in the way it should. And so while I accept that there will be some tidying up, I'm not sure whether we could agree to this in principle and look at some of the detail to be worked out afterwards. We often do that with motions, so I don't see why we wouldn't do this. But I think if we go out of this room with the same championship structure that we've had for decades, since the qualifiers were introduced, people are going to ask, what the hell are we doing as a governing body of the GAA if we can't freshen things up and try something, even if it's only for 1 year? Go to Míle Maith agat.